Sometimes girls feel low.
I was in third grade. I got bullied a lot because I was overweight.
When you have a child who's 7 and 8 years old who decides that they would rather kill themselves instead of going to school, then we have to get in front of the problem.
Worth is really the blueprint of your life. My name is Nicola Mitchell, and I'm the founder of Girls Who Brunch Tour. Girls Who Brunch takes girls ages 9 through 17 who are from disadvantaged situations. I wanted to give these girls an opportunity to experience things that some of them would never be able to experience. We bring them a red carpet event and just let them feel like they're celebrities for the day.
The vibe is so uplifting. No one judges you.
When Miss Nicola does events, it gives kids an outlet and helps motivate and inspire the girls.
One of the things that's very important about her organization is that she comes from the same side of the tracks that a lot of these young people do.
I was an at-risk girl growing up. I was raped multiple times before I turned 16. During that time, I was lost. I had my daughter 5 days after my 15th birthday.
My mom didn't have the best childhood. I don't know how she did it.
I didn't really understand how to communicate, and someone believed in me, and things start changing. That's what I kind of want to do with these girls.
What Nicola is doing makes a big difference in these girls' lives.
It's like a great experience and how you can overcome what has happened.
Girls inspiring girls. You know, that empowerment from another girl is really, really helpful.
We have 21 cities for this tour. I'm bringing who's who of the women community in these cities in front of these girls.
There's a panel of speakers, but they also do breakout workshops.
We learned about self-esteem. We did vision boards on daily motivation.
If you're having a bad day, you can write things that can help you have a better day.
In every city, I sponsor 50 to 100 girls who are in group homes, girls who have been rescued from the sex trade, girls who are homeless, sometimes girls who are pregnant.
She gives them an opportunity to showcase their talents. For some of these girls, Girls Who Brunch Tour has been life-changing.
My goal is to make sure the girls have a good time. They just need love. The lack of sleep, just everything that I'm doing is worth it when I see their faces.
My mother is a woman of worth because she's selfless.
Nicola is very supportive.
She's been through a lot and she is very strong and powerful.
I think it's a great thing what she's done, and it's amazing.
She can change a life. I'm living proof. She changed my life.
If we know how much power we really possess, there's no stopping us. Hey y'all, hey, how's everybody doing today? My name is Dr. Nicola Mitchell, and I am the founder of Girls Who Brunch Tour. But on top of that, I am a nationally best-selling author. I've written over 25 books and helped publish over 1,000 authors to get their books out. I've done so many great things. So what I'm going to teach you today is how to unlock your full creative potential. I'm going to show how those things you just heard, how I used the damaging things that happened to me, learned how to unleash them, and now be able to express them creatively. So some of the things we are going to go over today is number one, identifying and releasing repressed emotions that are hitting so that we can learn how to express that creatively. You know, who have heard of, Mary J. Blige, right? And they say they hate when she's sad, when she's happy in a relationship, because the best songs that she's written is when she's sad, because she's using those emotions and those things to write. So we're going to learn how to identify those things and bring them out. We're also going to learn how to transform our pain and challenges and turn them into powerful artistic expressions, which will end up being purpose. And third, we're going to build emotional resilience and empower creative mindset. And lastly, explore creative tools through journaling, art, music, writing, and learning what is your best emotional process. So again, my name is Dr. Nicola Mitchell, and I'm a passionate healer and creative guide, right? I really identify as a disruptor. I've learned how to turn what has meant for bad and make it good, right? And learn how to heal from it. I'm told that I have this soothing voice and this soothing temperament, right? And that allows people to listen to me. So I had to learn how to use those things and let them see that even though you've been through all these things, you don't have to look like what you've been through. And you can still tell the world what you've been through art, right? So that is why I'm a disruptor. I love breaking those generational curses and allowing people to know that they are worth it and that they can be anything and be able to overcome all those obstacles that the devil try to use to block them. I love teaching others to embrace their hidden emotions and just love it, right? Sometimes we think those things that cause us to be depressed, that cause us to be stressed out, I think that's a hindrance, right? And I teach people how to embrace those emotions and then learn how to transform them, right? Hey, I was kicked out the stream, so I apologize for all that. We're going to go back into the presentation. That one is the one that you guys uploaded. When it knocked me out, I think it's frozen on that screen. So if you can't bring up the stream, then I can just go ahead without the slides. So let me know. Okay, so a little bit about my background. Thank you guys for being patient. So, a little bit about my background. I am a writer, right? But because I learned how to heal and heal healthily, I started an organization for girls called Girls Who Brunch Tour, like the video stated. And I go and bring in girls who have the same things, circumstances that have happened to me. And I've taught them how to become productive citizens. As of date, we service 48,000 girls. Through that work, I have a movie about my life. It's called Giving Hope, the Nicola Mitchell story. Tatiana Ali. She is playing me, Ashley from The Fresh Prince. And through that, all kind of things has opened up for me. And so again, if I did not know how to release those hidden things in front of me, inside of me, I would not be here today. From the organization Girls Who Brunch Tour, I won an award called the L'Oreal Paris Woman of Worth Award. I am also one of this year's honorees, their alumni honorees. So that's pretty dope. They're announcing that today, actually. And through that program, I've met celebrities and different people like Viola Davis. I've been able to work with major corporations like Microsoft and have actresses and different great people, sports and celebrities come to my events. And all of that has transpired because I learned how to hide, unleash my hidden emotions and learn what is wrong with me, right? All those things that, like I said before, what the devil made for bad, make it for good and be able to tell my story and amplify my story, right? For the world to see that it's okay, right? To go through what you've gone through and use my words to express it. Next slide, please. So today we're going to learn the power of emotions in creativity. Emotions are the raw material of creative expression. Expressed feelings can hinder creative flow, right? So embracing your emotional truth can unlock new levels of artistic innovation. What does that mean? There's so many people that think they're not creative, but everybody's a creative. And if you're writing, if you're singing songs in the shower, if you're an artist and just like to doodle, these are different things of being creative. So you need to figure out those different subtle body languages and signals that through physical sensations and recurring thoughts and emotional triggers that bring out that creativity, right? So you may listen to a song and you may want to write your significant other a loving text, right? You may hear a poem, right? And it brings tears to your eyes. All those things are triggers that physically and emotionally that triggers those emotions. So we can use those things, those tools to bring out those emotions inside of us, right? I'm a domestic violence survivor. For a long time, I used to hate to get my nails done because that was something that he made me do, right? And I used to hate being told that I was pretty because I'm an abuse survivor. But those two things, those are just little examples, but those two things were things that nobody understood because when people see me, they're like, oh, you're beautiful. When they seen myself, they're like, you can amplify, you can put makeup on, you can do those things, but that trauma blocked me from being able to do that. Once I started going to therapy and start talking it out, right, I was like, dang, that has such a weight on me, right? And so now I'm a person, when I greet people, I'm like, hello, beautiful, peace king, peace queen, right? Those little words are things that trigger other people to now be able to receive that. There's so many men in this world who've never even heard somebody recognize them as a king, right? And when you tell them that, I've had men come back to me and ask, tell me how that made them feel. So now what I do is challenge them to write that out. Okay, when I called you a king and that made you feel a certain type of way, write that out and explain how did it make you feel. And then also write out how did it make you feel that you did not know that you were a king. And a lot of times my clients and people who come to me tell me that once they write these things out, they figure out that when they were young, something that happened to them to make them feel like they weren't worthy enough to be called a king, right? Something that happened to them that made them feel like they weren't strong enough to be a king. And then I always challenge them, okay, write that into a poem, make it a book, right? But that's this little simple technique on how to unleash those emotions, right? That's self-reflection. That was just a quick tip of what journaling is. Figuring out how to amplify those thoughts. Because a lot of times everybody say, oh, for your mental health to journal. But how do you journal? How do you know what to write out to be able to start the journaling process? And those are things and little tips that you can use to learn how to journal and how to become creative. Before we can transform our emotions into art, we must first identify what's been hidden away. And I invite you to be gentle with yourself as we explore these feelings. So I want everybody, go back to, yeah, right there. I want everybody to close their eyes and take in 3 deep breaths slowly. 1, we're going to hold it for about 3 seconds. 2, and the last one. 3, keep your eyes closed and recall a moment when you felt strong with unspoken emotion. Think about that moment when a niece or nephew thought that you were their hero. Think of that moment when you helped your mother, your grandmother, and they were so thankful because you stopped what you were doing to help them. Think of a moment when you may have rescued somebody and didn't know how. Notice that physical sensation that your body is feeling when you're thinking of that story. That is your body showing you how to tell that story. Sometimes we have that hair feel like it's standing up on our shoulders. We have that little jolt of energy in our chest or going throughout our body when we think of a moment like that. Let that memory surface and allow yourself to simply observe that moment. You are now connecting with your hidden emotion. Take a couple more moments and stay in that moment and open your eyes. How do you feel when you just thought about that moment? What subtle thought and physical trigger happened to you? I want you to take a piece of paper and write how your body felt and write out that moment. Identify your highs and lows in that moment. Identify the way your body reacted to that moment. Were you happy? Were you sad? I'll give you a couple more seconds. All right, we can move on. So go to the next one. So now what we're going to do is take the next 2 minutes, right, and jot down any thought that may be going through your mind right now, right? It could be from that moment that you just felt. It could be from how you feel now that you have identified that moment. I want you to take a moment and write next 2 minutes and write down your feelings. What emotions surface for you? These are your journaling prompts. And how did it feel physically and mentally? Reflect on what surfaced in your visualization. So like, what did you see? Explain, like, how did your grandmother feel? How did your grandmother look, if it was a memory of your grandmother or of a family member? What was the energy around it? Were the people upset? I want you to write those moments down. Identify that. Identify maybe what you were wearing in that moment. How was your hair in that moment? Just little things that's going to make you comfortable on remembering, right? And if anyone feels comfortable, I would like for you to share a word that you may feel in that moment in the chat, or even the moment, if anyone feels comfortable. Okay. If not, it's okay. Give you a couple more minutes to write. All right, so we'll go on to the next slide. Transforming emotions into art. With this, we're going to learn strategies for channeling emotions into different creative mediums. Examples: turning sorrow into a soulful melody, anxiety into abstract art, and your vulnerability, we're going to turn that into compelling storytelling, right? And so with this, let's talk about what is transformation. Like I said, I am an abuse survivor, right? And I speak every October, Domestic Violence Month, about the abuse that I endured and how I overcame it. Okay, Jasmine, pressure, yes. Overwhelmed, okay. Anybody else want to share any words? So like I said, every October, I'm a domestic violence survivor. And so I go and I speak about, the traumas and things. But I hate saying, about the actual physical abuse, right? I like to tell a story so people can relate to it. And one story that I always start off with was a story when I was 6 months pregnant, and my ex-husband told me he was going to kill me. We were driving down the street, and I told him I had to pee. So we stopped in a Walgreens parking lot because I acted like I couldn't hold it. And I ran inside, and I told the store clerk that my husband's going to kill me. Can you please help me and hide me? That was one of the most traumatic, saddest, and emotional days of my life, right? Hiding in that freezer. Okay. My children, I didn't know how I was going to get to them next. I didn't know what he was going to do to me after I come out this freezer. I didn't know what was going to happen, right? So I had to figure out, though, whenever I tell that story, everybody hangs on to it. Everybody can see themselves. They can even see the moment, right? A pregnant woman running and hiding in a freezer inside of a convenience store, Walgreens, right? Everybody can see that. I had to figure out how to turn what was one of the saddest days in my life and be able to tell the story to allow people to feel the same pain that I was feeling. That is an example of transforming your pain into storytelling, your vulnerability. Because a lot of us, especially women, right, we're told we have to be strong. We're told we have to not show fear, not show anxiety, not show hurt, and always live with purpose and walk with our heads up, right? It's so hard for us as women, and sometimes men too, right? Especially for men who have to be the leader and the head of the household, to show vulnerability. But when you're able to express that vulnerability, you're able to share your story, right? I want you to think of your emotion as raw clay. With clay, you know, when you rub it in your hands, right? What form does that clay turn into? You could pull it apart, you can bring it back together, but you can make it a piece of art, right? How might you express that feeling through your clay? Anybody want to give an idea? How another tool, another example of expressing your feeling? Because with clay, right, you can make it as small as you want, or you can make it as large as you want, right? So when you're expressing your feeling through clay and molding it, you can mold it into anything that you want. When you're telling your story through words, through oratory, the most powerful thing is being able to allow somebody to see, hear what you're saying, and see the story. So we have to use descriptive words. The hurt that I was feeling, right, from being in this relationship, the fear that I felt as I was hiding in this freezer, the fear that I felt what was going to happen to my children next. Being vulnerable is the best part of storytelling. Let's go on to the next slide. So, building emotional resilience. Embrace vulnerability as your creative strength. Techniques daily. I want you to have mindfulness when you wake up, right? Talk to God, pray, meditate, right? And in that mindfulness, practice mental self-care techniques, right? Tell yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm loved, I'm powerful, I'm strong, right? Whatever that hidden emotion is telling you that you are the exact opposite. And in that moment, while you're meditating, I want you to focus on that, right? I want you to increase your self-care practices. So now, getting my nails done is now self-care, not mandatory. Getting a massage is self-care. Putting on makeup is self-care. Going on walks are self-care. Figuring out what is your self-care technique, right, and regimen. And while you're doing that, think about those hidden emotions and accepting them and starting to let go while you're in those moments, right? And making these regular rituals. But instead of just practicing self care, we're going to now, while we're at the nail salon, while we're on that walk, think about how can we allow our creative juices to flow, right? So if you're a photographer, thinking about what is the best angle to shoot, right? Like, sometimes when people are upset, have you ever noticed that's the best picture? Because that solemn look on their face. Look at yourself in the mirror. Become comfortable with you. And then you'll be able to express to other people the feelings that you see when you look at you. Emotional resilience isn't about suppressing pain at all. It's about harnessing it and using it as fuel for growth. By acknowledging our vulnerabilities, we open the door to deeper, more authentic conversations and creative expressions. We can go on to the next slide. Empowerment mindset and vulnerability as strength. Shift from I'm weak to I am beautifully human. Celebrate your emotions. They're essentially the essence of who you are as a person. And they'll be your artistic power. And affirm yourself. My vulnerability is my strength. Remember, every time you embrace your vulnerability, you're tapping into your creative power. Every time. Your story, with all its twists and turns and highs and lows, it will resonate to somebody else. That's what art is. And once it resonates to somebody else, that's the buy-in. And they're going to continue to come back to buy more and to learn more and to seek more from you, right? Because a good storyteller can unleash emotion in somebody else. And now let them figure out what their hidden emotions are. So again, storytelling does not just have to be writing. It can be on the screen. It can be through art. You know, it could be through music. But figuring out what is your vulnerability and wearing it as strength like your armor, you'll be able to help so many more people because they're going to resonate to you and be attracted to you. Everything that I've gotten so far is when I came from behind the curtain and start telling who I am unapologetically. We can go on to the next slide. So here we have questions and answers, right? So if anybody have any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns about what I talked about, if you want to go a little deeper in some of the techniques, I only had 30 minutes, so I couldn't go too complex on the conversation, but I did want to allow anybody who have a question, comment, thought, concern to be able to say how they felt. And I want to let you know that it's okay to ask these questions, and let's have dialogue on what's going on with you versus the examples that I gave. So I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna wait a couple minutes to see if anybody has any thoughts they want to share. And remember this, there's no wrong answer. It's only authentic expressions. And you know, if you don't want to share exactly how you feel, you can share how you're going to apply these techniques in your storytelling. I'm here for you. What example that I provided resonated with you? I'm gonna give a couple more minutes. All right, so we can move on to the next slide. Let's work together and create something great. I hate when people say, follow me, let's connect with me. Let's work together to create something great. So you can go to my website. It's www.imnicola.com. You can email me at nicolacmitchell@gmail.com, and you can follow me on all social media networks at Dr. Nicola M. I am here for you. And you can always donate to my beautiful organization. Scan that QR code, Girls Who Brunch Tour. As of date, we have serviced 48,000 girls worldwide. Our tour is still going. We are going to complete it in April of this year, and our new tour starts in July. We are going into year 10, y'all. So please donate and show your support. And the next one, if you'd like to book a one-on-one consultation with me, you can go to my website at imnicola.com and click on book me, book online. We can have a one-on-one conversation. I can show you how to publish books. I can help you with your nonprofit, or we can even continue this conversation. I am excited that you guys have me here. Thank you so much, Soul Canvas, for this opportunity. This was a beautiful experience. And please follow me, y'all. Bye.